Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. This is the Spicy Pecan Podcast.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so you could.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Spicy Pecan Podcast. This is the spiciest pecan, your host Nina, and I want to welcome any new pecans to the show. Thank you so much for joining. I'll give you a second to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio directories, Google Play, Apple Pod, and Spotify, make sure you leave a review. And if you already have left a review, share the episode with someone who you think would like it. And for anybody new, I want to apologize. I live on a busy street. It is what it is. We gonna rock out. All right. So listen, we got a cool show today. I'm going to keep it very light. I don't know if you can hear from my nasal passages, but I am under the weather. I am not feeling good today. I am kind of starting to get over it a little bit. It's been a couple of days and not COVID or anything like that. I have been vaccinated, but because I was vaccinated, a bitch been real lax. And I have been getting my entire life this summer. Ever since I got vaccinated, I feel like I've been wilding out. I've been spending way too much money. I've been going here, there, everywhere, and nowhere at all. But listen, even though you're vaccinated, you might want to keep on that mask. And I know who the culprit is. Don't think just because you're 3 years old, I won't come see you. All right? I know where you live. So bear with me. I am not feeling too good. So we're not going to get into any heavy politics. There are so many things going on in the news with voting rights. There's so much going on with the eviction moratorium. A lot going on, and it's very, very heavy. And right now I am in a space of self-care. So I am going to take a little bit of a break. But as we roll into the fall, these issues are going to steam up, and actionable items, actionable things are going to present themselves as things start to come up. There's different races coming up and all of that. So we'll get into all of that later. But this week, my job gave me, or the entire organization, 3 weeks off. So essentially what it is they're highlighting self-care. I spent so many years in corporate America. When I transitioned into social justice work, I am on the outskirts of the social justice warriors, the people who are right up front doing the organizing work. I do all of the communication, social media work. I work within that world. But what I can tell you is it is very stressful. Doing this type of work where you're always advocating, you're always, organizing, attempting to push a message and get information out there. It can be very frustrating. You hear a lot of no's. Sometimes you just don't hear anything. Sometimes it feels like you're fighting against the very people you're looking to save because of misinformation and just so many different issues. So the organization basically wants us to recharge our batteries. And this is like, I've never heard of anything like this before, but I have really been taking it seriously. So I planned a few things to happen throughout this time so that I would have some time outside of my regular routine, outside of my home, to rest and rejuvenate. So I spent 2 days in Wildwood. Wildwood is like, Wildwood's my childhood, yo. That boardwalk, and I had so much fun. I had so much fun. I was just like a big kid. You know, we got on rides, bumper cars, the tilt, did arcades, all kinds of stuff. I really did have a great time. The first day was super sunny, right? The second day was a little cloudier, a little cooler, not cold, but a little cooler. So I put, my towel out. I brought a book. I brought my crystals. I recharged my crystals. I prayed. I'm still teaching myself how to meditate. I'm still not very good at it. If you have tips, absolutely share them with me. But I prayed. And I prayed and I did a lot of gratitude work, and I did some affirmations. I walked on the beach and read, and it was just amazing. I watched the sun fall a little bit, into the ocean. It was just beautiful. A great opportunity to recharge my batteries and just get to a place of stillness. It's just so, so important. So obviously I know that all of us don't have 3 weeks off, but I would even say if you work in HR, this is something that you might want to bring up to your team. Maybe it won't be a full 3 weeks, but maybe it could be a day. Maybe it could be just a company day where not a lot of work is done, and maybe a lot more quiet and silence, or free massages, or whatever. But self-care is just so important. We have to take care of ourselves if we are attempting to take care of anyone else or help anyone else. You're just no good. And that's why I keep it real with myself. I'm like, look, I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of heavy news. My mind isn't all the way right. It's been a while since I had a head cold. I usually get like stomach issues because I am like leftover queen. So I always try it, which I shouldn't. But a couple of events are going on, moving along. A couple of events are happening. So Unity Day was supposed to be last Saturday. It was actually rescheduled to this week, the 7th, the same day this is airing, in Stanley Park in Camden, New Jersey. I highly suggest, if you are even remotely in the area, to go check it out and support. A lot of dope organizations are going to be there. Great opportunity to meet some people, figure out what's going on and how you could potentially be involved in helping, with a specific issue. I can't go because I'm actually going to be in Boston. I was going to be going, before we knew it was going to rain. I was going to go. I was going to do giveaways. So I do apologize for the people who were, expecting me there. I did tell people that I was going to have some giveaways and I was going to be doing some fun things. But unfortunately, it rained, or it pump faked us. It didn't even actually rain that much. But that's going to be today, as you're listening to this. And on the 14th, I will be in Saddlebrook, New Jersey, supporting small businesses in J. They are having a 420 friendly event with 420 friendly vendors right there in Saddlebrook in the Crown Plaza. And that information, I did share it in my stories, but that information you can also find on Instagram at Small Businesses in J. And that's going to be cool because I'll be able to get a chance to meet Kiana, who we interviewed a couple of episodes ago. So that'll be super dope. And, getting back into the self-care a little bit, I wanted to share a few tips before I get into the topic. A few things that have helped me is a good friend of mine got me a deck of affirmation cards, and they sell them everywhere. You can get them at Five Below. You can get really fancy ones online. But if you Google affirmation cards, you can even find some from specifically Black-owned companies. But affirmation cards are so amazing. What I've been doing is I've just been flipping over one card every morning, and I promise you it does something to get my mind set for the day. And it's been calling on my spirit to kind of share those little things, specifically self-care. I guess probably because my organization has been talking about it so much and leading up to these 3 weeks. I know that I just don't talk about that stuff enough, and it's so pivotal in how I stay sober and how I keep my moods regulated. I really, really struggled with a very bad temper for a long, long time. And these little things really help me. Purposefully putting a towel out on a beach and praying. That's not something that I would have done years and years ago. But I just get the value of sitting with myself and praying with my God. It just does so much to center your mind and bring you to a place of peace. So affirmation cards. Think about getting some. Another thing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge. And it's not even just the people who have seriously done you wrong, the people who have done these traumatic things. In every day, when we're driving and someone cuts us off, we don't have to be an asshole after that. It could stop right there. It could totally just stop. We could dead it. It's up to us to continue that, right? So forgive that person right away. You don't know what they're going through. That's what I mean about forgiveness. I can't say anything about someone who has put you through a traumatic experience. I can't. But what I can say is, in everyday existence, if we forgave each other a lot more and if we gave each other more grace on a daily basis, this place would be a lot better. Like, it just would. And I guarantee you, if you practice that even within your own home, things would go a lot smoother. So, just think about forgiveness. I always try to think of, like, when people say stuff like, oh, forgiveness is not for you, it's for them. All that's true. Like, all the sayings are true. But in my mind, I think about grudges. Grudges and holding on to negative feelings about other people are like a cancer. And you have to cut them out as soon as you possibly can. You're probably not going to be able to get it right away. But as soon as you possibly can, you have to cut that grudge out. Because if that bitch starts to grow, it starts to affect you in so many more ways than you could have ever imagined. All of a sudden, you having issues in your relationship because of something that you didn't forgive someone for. You weren't able to truly move on. You know what I mean? So it makes it easier for me to think about it like that. So I don't know if that helps you guys. But the last tip, I just wanted to give 3. The last tip of self-care, I would say, is the art of not giving a fuck. The art of not giving a fuck. You have to abandon the fact that you can please everyone. And I don't mean that in just a very cheesy way. I mean that in, you really have to let go of all of the appearances, the outward things that you are holding up that just aren't true. I have, this is a light example. This is probably not the best example, but a light example is I have friends who, they smoke marijuana. And for whatever reason, they just hide that. Look, don't do it then. But if you are going to do it, do it. Don't worry about what someone else is going to say or do. And like I said, that's not the best example. I'm sure I could use better examples with finances and things like that. But I just feel like we fake the funk way too much. And the more and more I really just stop caring what people think, and the more I just say, well, it ain't a problem until you tell me it's a problem, because I'm living my life. I'm having a great time. I don't feel like I'm bothering anyone. But for us that tend to be super aware of what everyone's thinking and what people might say, and oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, and don't live like that. It's not worth it. I'm not saying that you would be able to completely abandon all your anxieties, but even if you can give away 10%, if you can literally just say a couple times a day, I don't give a fuck. I don't. It's not my problem. It has nothing to do with me. I don't want the headache. I don't want to deal with it. And guess what? I don't care if you don't like me for it. I don't care. If you family, you still gotta love me. But if you're a friend or whoever, I don't care. If you love me, you will still be there, right? All right. Enough with that. So I wanted to just do one segment. We're not going to get into all of them, but I wanted to get into a little bit of Boss Babes. This week on Boss Babes, listen, yo. Rihanna is a goddamn billionaire. I didn't say I said billionaire. Congratulations to, I think Charlamagne called her Big Fenty. Yeah, I think I'm going to just start calling her Big Fenty. Shout out to Big Boss Fenty. That is crazy. That is absolutely incredible. And I just love everything about her. Do you? She's like, I love everything about her. And I just, good for you, young lady. Good for you. I say young lady, I think we're the same age. Lauryn Hill dropped the track. Lauryn Hill is featured on Nas's brand new track called Nobody. Did you hear it? I mean, I definitely would like to hear more. She was coming for people, you know. I guess she was saying something about the fact that people talk stuff about her being late to her shows. I don't give a fuck how many cool bars you drop. That's still rude to me. And if I'm paying for anything, show up at least decently on time. I've heard she's been late by like 3-4 hours and stuff. Like, no. I think it was actually even more than that. But it was a very, very nice track. I've heard a couple of the tracks that Nas dropped. Cool album. I haven't heard the whole thing. I heard her pieces of Kanye West's new album. A couple of people have. I haven't gotten a chance to like actually sit down and listen. I mean, I've talked about my feelings about Kanye West. I did hear I haven't heard anything that it was like, oh my God, he blew me away. Musically, like just listening to the music, bro has always been a genius. He's an amazing producer, all that. As far as like bars, I have heard of maybe I would say 4 verses from 3 different songs. And, you know, I felt like he kind of got washed on a couple of his songs. Jay Electronica was on one of them. Oh my God, just like goosebumps. Ridiculous. I did not get a chance to watch the Lox and Dipset verses, but that's not really my speed anyway. I wasn't a fan of either group. I don't remember what I was listening to while they were out. I feel like, I don't know. I can't even remember who else was out. Maybe that was like my punk phase or something, but I do very much remember that movement. I never was into the whole Dipset thing or any of that. But congratulations to Lauryn Hill. Hopefully this means new music. Who knows? She said that her hands have been untied or unbound, I think was the line. Something like, or no, she said she got her hands back or something like that. So hopefully that means more music. We shall see. We shall very much see. Listen, I'm going to keep saying it. We are in the age of Aquarius, so it would be fitting that the great speakers and talkers of our generation would start to creep out of the dust and come out and excel and, take their rightful place. Last Boss Babe, and this is going to lead us into our topic today, and then we're out of here. Sanaa Lathan interviewed with People magazine, and she spoke about not drinking in 3 years. I didn't know that Sanaa Lathan stopped drinking. I guess this is the first time she's publicly speaking about it. 3 years ago, was that around the time that she bit Beyonce's face? Because you know that was her who did that. But I thought the rumor was that was more of a coke thing. That's what the celebrities were kind of saying about her. Either way, beautiful woman, talented actress, very, very happy for her. She was describing alcohol as dimming her light. And the interesting thing about the article is, and obviously I can relate to this, she talked about going out a few times a week, normal, you have dinner with friends and stuff like that, and you drink. And her not necessarily experiencing a hangover, but just the lasting effects of just that alcohol sitting in your body. Every other day you drink or every day you drink, and just that alcohol that just kind of just sits in there. It affects, she said, it affected her energy, messed with her anxiety, and just overall, just she said it imbalanced her mind. And I can definitely attest to that. And I want to commend her because she didn't get a check to tell anybody that. And you don't get a pat on the back for doing things like that all the time. And, sometimes when people come out and say these things, it's all, oh, wow, you're so brave. And then the first chance, you get, you throw it in their face. So congratulations to her for coming out and sharing this part of her life with us. It's really important. alcohol is very heavily glamorized. And, I'm going to lightly talk about that. This, in this episode is really the topic that I wanted to get into. As everyone knows, I've had my own struggles with alcohol abuse. It's been 4 going on 5 years for me. But summer and the fall seem to be some of the hardest times for people. Summer being everybody's out and about. Everybody's having barbecues, parties, backyard gatherings. There's constant drinking. And then in the fall, that's where a lot of the holidays hit. You got Thanksgiving, Christmas starts to come up, New Year, everything kind of starts to fall, like right in summer on into the holiday season. And it's, it's very tough. So I wanted to share a few things for people who may be questioning whether they think maybe they do drink a little bit too much, or maybe they're struggling to identify whether there is a real issue or not. And first of all, you're not alone. I think you know that. It does feel like you're alone, but you're not. And also, you may not have an issue. Some things are seasonal. Sometimes people just go through things. And sometimes we just fucking overdo it, But I've been reading articles, and the Sanaa Lathan thing surprised me, but it shouldn't surprise me because the numbers of people abusing alcohol, reporting that they were abusing alcohol, seeking help, skyrocketed during the pandemic. And we still have people who are still losing jobs, getting sick, having relatives die, threat of eviction, anxiety. Things are happening for people. So, one of the things that I would say, if you think that you or someone is struggling or heading down a road where maybe they will be struggling, I would say the first thing is modified behavior. If you start to realize that someone says, hey, you want to go here? And the real reason you don't want to go is because you want to go home and drink, because that's your comfort zone, or, that's just what you do after work. That's how you let loose, let off steam after work. You're gearing into that area, because you shouldn't be canceling with friends or not taking up opportunities to do things when on the other side of that is you drinking. So that's one of the things that, was the first things for me. I had my routine. If you asked me to do something at 7 on a weekday, I wasn't doing it. If you asked me to do something at maybe 10 on a weekday, you probably got me. If you asked me to do something at 10 on a weekend, no. I already knew what I would, it's a very realistic thing. It's not a disrespectful thing. You know that by this time, you're going to be lit. So if you're realizing that you or a friend is modifying behavior, that's one of the first things you want to look at. Isolating is another really big thing. If you haven't seen a specific friend in a while, you should be checking on them anyway. But if you in particular have not been engaging in regular things that you do, regular things that used to give you joy, why don't they give you joy anymore? If you go outside and it's bright as hell and for some reason you just don't feel the sunshine and it's just gray to you and you can't feel that sun, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of us have been there, whether it's alcohol or not. It's bright, sunny, everybody's having a good time, and you just for some reason cannot see the sun. You can't see that it's bright. Everything feels gray and dim to you. So isolating is a very big thing. And hiding how much you drink. And this is a big thing because I notice people doing this just on the regular. But it's a very telltale sign. If people are in conversation, because this happens every once in a while where people are in conversation about how much they drink, you notice some people get very defensive. If you get defensive and you feel like you are lying about the frequency that you actually drink or how much you drink, that's a huge red flag. If you are getting together with your friends and drinking and having a good time and everybody else goes home and goes to sleep or goes about their night and you go home and you're continuing to drink, that is an issue. That's something that you want to look at. I'm not going to say it's an issue. And the biggest thing is, if you think you have a problem, you might. That's just the reality. If you think it, if you're starting to feel it like, oh shit, do I drink too much? You may be onto something. You may be catching yourself before there even is an issue, or you might be realizing that there is one. And I would just encourage anyone to go to aa.org. AA saved my life. Some people say it's not for them. Most of those people I know who said that AA wasn't for them, but alcohol was their drug of choice and they had a problem with it, most of those people are still drinking with their issue. Everything isn't for everybody, so I'm not going to say it's a cure-all. But from what I've noticed, if you follow those steps, which are essentially just getting you closer to God, that's really what Alcoholics Anonymous is. Alcoholics Anonymous helps you identify a higher power and get you as close to that higher power as possible, so that you are not reliant on the outside world to always make you happy and always make you feel perfect and always, no. That's between you and God. You know, we have choices to make. So AA is a lot more about spirituality than it is about anything else. And I would encourage anyone who thinks that they may have an issue or has someone that they care about that they think may have an issue to absolutely check that out. The numbers are rising for addiction, guys. This is like a really, really big deal. One thing you don't want to do is have someone go down for something that is very, very easily fixable on the front end. If you could recognize that you got a little issue and you like, that shit just ain't really for me, and you avoid it, you could save a lot of years. Trust me when I tell you, a lot of years of heartbreak and struggle. And one of these days I'll tell my full story. But you know, now's not the time. I'm sick. So listen, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. Take care of each other. Watch out for your people. Love on each other. And stay spicy. Be blessed. Thank you for listening to Spicy Pecan Podcast. This is a wonderful meal.